welcome out there to my program. Glad to have you out there in the audience, and it's always a pleasure to be here myself. I have someone who has been very active in the community over the years, someone I'm sure you're very familiar with, a person that devoted a lot of his own personal time in a specific issue, which is LNG, liquefied natural gas. Also, he's a selectman in the town of Somerset, and he is running a campaign now to become senator, replacing or taking the job that Senator Menard in Somerset in that area is going to be retiring from come January. So, Lorne Lawless, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Rich. It's a pleasure to be here, and I know you've been chasing me around, but I finally got here, and it was on short notice, and I'm glad I was able to come in tonight.
Cancellation, and gave you a call, and here you are. Lucky to have you on here, and well, we want to know, what about your campaign? How is it going, and what you plan to do? But first of all, I think the audience needs to have or get a little background of what you've done in the past.
Well, actually, Rich, I grew up in Canada, and I ended up, after I came out of St. John Institute of Technology, I went to the Irvine Refinery, and I went in the operations side. I was in maintenance for a while, then I went in the operations side, and over the years I worked my way up through, and after 10 years being there, I ended up being a shift supervisor, area supervisor of crude unit. I worked crude units as the supervisor, on hydrogen plants, on isomax, on amine plants, on sulfur plants, on boiler plants. So I have a good overall view of the process on the LNG side. I also was the operation coordinator on special projects, especially on shutdowns. I wrote the shutdown procedures of these plants and planned the shutdown when we had to take a unit down, and I was the coordinator for operations to maintenance. So that's part of my background. I've owned two small businesses over the years, so I know
what kind of businesses did you own?
I had a graphic business where, if I still go back to the Maritimes, I see some of my work there. If you look at Butternut Bread up there, you'll see the trucks going with all my graphics that I designed for them.
Okay, are you considered a graphic artist?
I'm not a graphics artist. I actually, back years ago when the first cutters came out, you'll see a lot of signage today that are done with new technology, but when the Apple computer came out and the Gerber machines, I bought the best at the time, and we were trained and 3M authorized. I had fellows trained in that, and I had an accessory side of the business, which did a lot of auto accessories, and I dealt with a lot of the car dealers at the time. So I've had a background,
business background,
coming from the oil industry of 18 years. That was a very good career for me, but I had the other business going on the side, and I had to make a decision because they were growing at the time, and I decided, well, it's time for me to move on. If I didn't move at that time, at that age, I would have probably still been in the refinery. But and then I moved on after I sold one business. I closed one.
Now, was this in Canada?
In Canada. I ended up helping a company across Canada. I was a national marketing director for them. So I've had a diverse background, and I know what people go through because I have been through ups and downs in life. I mean, and that's good because number one, it helps you build your character a little bit and have empathy for people that are out here that are going through it right now. And I see it every day, and I emphasize, and people say to me, "How did I end up down in the United States?" I never thought.
How did you live in Somerset?
I live in.
How did you get to Somerset? I mean, other than driving, or
Rich, a woman will do it to you every time. And so I got a great wife. I'm very blessed. I met Diane when I was down here doing some work, and it went from there. And I ended up coming to Seekonk. We lived in Seekonk for quite a while, and we looked at Somerset. We wanted to move to Somerset because we liked Somerset. We liked Fall River. We liked the Taunton River, and we were looking for a piece of land or a house on the water, and that's how I ended up here. I never thought, with my background, that I would end up fighting the LNG situation.
Well, yeah.
Somebody said, well, life leads you in certain directions, and I've heard, Lorne Lawless is down here because he worked for the Irvings, and that's why they planted him down here. I mean, I wish they were paying me, but that's not the case.
Well, so you got involved with the LNG issue
That's right.
while you were in office or before?
Before.
Okay, so
Long before.
long before you got involved.
Going on 7 years ago.
You've been involved
6
with the
years,
local
7 years.
LNG issue.
Right.
Now, how long have you been a selectman?
I've been a selectman going on 3 years now.
All right, so relatively new.
Yep.
In public office, never held office
That's
before?
correct. That's correct.
Now, you have a big challenge that you're undergoing, and that is to gain that seat that Senator Menard holds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you talked to your wife, sat down, and had a discussion.
Well, no, I actually didn't sit down with her. I'll tell you what happened was I was mulling it over, and one night we were watching TV. She turned the TV down, and she just said to me, "You need to go take out papers." And I said, "Diane, it's a big commitment." I said, even running for selectman was a big commitment because I was new to town, and I did run against Pat O'Neill at the time, and he was a 6-year incumbent. And I was fortunately that people got behind me and trusted me, and it has worked out for me, and I believe it has worked out for the town because some of the things I've implemented, along with the board, we've saved a lot of money in Somerset in a short period of time. So if it wasn't for her, she wasn't pushing me to run, but she was there. She was there for me, and I needed her support because you cannot do this without your wife behind you, and she's just a great support for me.
Well, that's great. So she actually was the one that kind of hinted that maybe you should run for Senator Menard.
No, I was thinking about it. I talked to her about it, but she was the one in the end that said, "You need to run. You need to run for this."
All right. Now, when did you make the decision? A month ago?
I made the decision about. I took out papers. Senator Menard, I think, announced on a Monday. I'd taken papers out the previous week on a Friday.
Okay. All right. So
before she announced, I was on WSAR that day with Barry Richard, and he said, "Well, if Senator Menard stays in, are you still in?" I said, "Yes, I'm in. Once I commit to something and grab onto something, I'm committed."